All right, we're in it. What up?
All right, so this is the my one of my versions of Momo 2 on Life. I just out of all the characters, I thought Kirishima was the most busted, but I thought right behind him would be Momo.
Interesting.
Be- Mainly because she's a seven-hander on the life symbol, so
Okay.
like very powerful as it is. And her response is, oh, after they updated her, is very powerful in my opinion. There's like the second effect of breaker on cards like preparing for battle or quick creation, or even like just adding breaker onto like neck gun surprise was like something that was very powerful to me. And then the ability to play around, well, in my local meta, ready get set go is like everywhere. So like the ability to play around ready get set go was something that was very um, interesting to me. So that was something I wanted to try to work around.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so there's the pitch. Obviously we're playing Cannon, Comet, Capture. So what is the goal of the deck, Doctor? What are we looking for?
Mainly trying to trim down the stack. So like I'm at like 69 cards.
Nice.
Perfect number. Yep, nice.
Our
But
work is done.
the number of like block ratios, like I have a ton of highs, like a decent amount of mids, and like 10 lows in this deck, which is a little nuts to me. But they're all like pretty good values. They're all at 2 or below 2.
Right.
But outside of that, I feel like the attack lineup is fairly strong. Um, I worked on this with Townsley for a bit, and he wanted me to play like less ready get set go and less like um what was it? It was like less cards. Like he wanted me to add in what's that promo card? The one with Midoriya over Bakugo in the river.
I don't know, but I added it to your sideboard already. We're gonna talk about it.
Okay, and he he wanted me to play like Cannon Blast at a 4 of like it's he's like insistent that it's insane, which I think I can agree. Originally, like you see, is version 3. I had like 4 Shining Flash in this deck, and the idea was to go like string attack, and then play frog lashing, just like kind of how like Sue already plays.
Right.
Except this deck can I want to say like build out much faster because of Momo's present hands.
Yeah, fully. Yeah, I think this deck is pretty strong in that regard for sure, right? Like if you have good keywords in hand that you can play, then you're just like allowed to.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. Oh, that's the wrong button. Let's talk about some of the choices we have. So first off, childhood friends. After you block with a lot of your cards, any card that has Momo's face on it, any card that has any card that has Momo's face. So we've got Back Alley works, Frog Lashing works, Comet does not work, Capture Net does work, Surprise does not work. Yeah, she's got good. This does not work. So like block with 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, and you just get to lift it back to your hand, and there's your low block. And it has your keywords, right? Like it's got your stuff. I think that this card is good enough just for the bottom response to be played at a 1 of, but that's increasing cards in your deck as opposed to decreasing. Self-sacrifice being at a 2 of is a little crazy to me. I think this is a easy 4 of in a deck that's missing low blocks. And I think what's going to have to happen is you're just going to have to make hard choices when it comes to what high blocks am I playing. Right? Already I'm seeing Study Group Leader, Summoner Style, Excited for Blood, Wall Cling, Release, Starlet. Like some of these have to give in order to make room for the other cards. They just do. As well as we've got 4 more copies of high blocks that are just trying to jam more cards. So maybe these are sideboarded, but I don't know. It just really depends on what you feel at the end. But I wanted to add it in the low block options that you have. The best one being self-sacrifice, obviously, but you've also got Observant Student, followed by Glamorous. And these cards are fine. Glamorous, being able to re-ready or re-flip things like Rising Starlet, being able to unflip your Wall Clings, anything that you flipped with Tight-Lipped feels good. Unflipping your Excited for Blood feels rad, which is why I also put in Naval Laser Beam. This card has put in a lot of work and has found a ton of success competitively. It's also got that Breaker 2, which feels good because you inherently give bonus Breaker. Can't be on this one, but it can be on other ones. So like you Breaker 1 with Momo, Breaker 2 with this thing, and then they're just stuck, right? And then lastly, attack-wise, you've got Tongue Whip. The only low block you're playing is Instant Shining Flash. And I get that this is a weapon, but this card actually kills them. Whereas this card says that the next card you play kills them. And so I think this card is a neat sideboard card. I don't think it should be main boarded. I think it should just be Tongue Whip at a 3 of. Probably a 4 of, but there's that.
Okay. So the idea with the attack lineup is that everything is either outside of Net Gun Surprise is either a high attack or a charge attack. So it works well with home run comments for your finishing kill,
Right.
alongside with like your finishing kills will be like Cannon Blast and home run comment. Was the idea?
That is fair. That's super fair. I think what you do then is like I get that this is a 1 mid block weapon move, but like. This card is just as much of a kill condition as this card is, but this card has that low block you're looking for. Whereas this, we already have mid block. This just like lets us play the low and be chill with it, right? And this card is not a very good opener, right? Because of how our deck works. It only gets to open if we play a back alley hitmaker behind it. Whereas this card can be both the opener and the finisher, depending on how the turn goes, right?
Yeah.
So I think this card is just like more well-rounded for what the life package wants to do, like the life attack package. But if you are married to big, huge home run comet strengths, I'm here for it.
I'm not married to it. That was the idea. So if the idea was that to have a very good defense and then be able to just string along something that the opponent can't stop. So Tongue Whip also helps for that with clogging up their card pool, making all their blocks one harder to block on. So that's it. It provides the same idea.
That's how I feel, at least. Yeah. I'm gonna just slam 3 of these in here, and then I'm gonna take home run and put 1 in the sideboard so it still stays on our table, but we're gonna take it out. And then just already see what this looks like. Yeah, 1325. Yeah. So the next thing we have to figure out is what it looks like when we take Back Alley Hitmaker down to a 3 of. I am such an advocate of this card being a 3 of index. I don't think you need 4 of it. Not whenever you're playing 4 lashing, 4 cannon. Once again, drawing 2 of these on turn 2 sucks. Just feels really bad. You only want to ever draw 1 a turn every turn.
Agreed.
And you've got Back Alley plus Create Capture Net, plus you have stun 2 on any weapon that you want. And so like your Create Capture Nets, your Net Gun Surprises are very, very good. And that also is going to lower your high block count by 1. And so we're just getting a little closer to the goal. Okay. 22 attacks I think is perfect. And your 7 hand size character that also like gets to redraw cards here. Box full of babies. Talk to me about this one.
It's been like pretty strong, just because I want a certain amount of keywords on Foundation's assets altogether. So like you have the 7 assets, you have the I think I have 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 altogether. Keywords at least. So
counting 17.
And is it 17?
7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Ooh, I missed Canada. That's my bad.
15, 16, 17.
Okay, 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I want to be able to see a number of those in every single hand that I draw.
Right.
Because I want that first form to always be active.
I dig that. If we are cutting cards, I think we have to cut box down to a 2 of.
Okay.
I like the card. I want to leave the card in here. I think 2 is the correct number. With that said, I don't like floating. I think floating is not a very good card, but I get why it's here because it has cool keywords on it, but I don't think it's that great, truthfully.
it's got keywords. It can be built off a back alley haymaker. It can like help with maybe staff strike. Like it's just another weapon alongside. But again, like there's Rising Starlet, preparing for battle, quick reaction
Yeah.
in the attacks as well.
Right.
So I can understand that.
Yeah, and the fact that like back alley 9 times out of 10 is gonna grab a release if possible. Like we got release, tight-lipped, floating. That's what 7 targets for whatever. I think that's fine. I think what we actually need to talk about first before we do anything is this. I think we got to get rid of some amount of this number, and so I think it's gonna be tough for us to do. Things like Excited for Blood's got to go down to a 2 of. I don't think this is a 4 of in any character except for Momo, or except for Toga.
Okay, so I originally had excited or didn't have Excited for Blood in the deck, and it felt fine. I could even see just the card not being in there in general.
Yeah, I think that is totally chill. Because already like we're coming down 65. What's the goal here? What number do we want here?
I wouldn't say like close to 50 because that's like a little unreasonable with a control deck like this. Like most Toga decks are like what, like 65, 68,
right,
somewhere around that number. But the idea is that I want to see Ready Set Go almost Ready Get Set Go almost every single game.
Yeah.
If going second, and then I want to side it out going first every time.
Right. That makes sense to me. So I want to take Study Group Leader and drop it down to a 2 of. Boop. I think
I'm
you only
with
ever need
that.
to have one of this card out for the Momo response and feel great about it. Commit 1, re-ready it, and then commit the 2, and then commit the 2, it, and then another card, probably similar style, and then you get to destroy the whatever re-ready similar style, and you destroyed 1 foundation for plus 3 plus 6. That feels okay.
Okay.
And that's just cutting our block count down. Man, this is tough. I kind of want to get rid of. If you had to pick someone with style or Excited for Blood to just go, like it just had to leave, what would it be?
Someone with Style was the last edition. I also did originally have some number of Precious Lessons in this deck because like the Someone with Style Precious Lesson like little combo, it's such a really strong combo, especially with cards like Back Alley Haymaker, where you can build like a 0 that you just blew up, or it's really good with like Cannon Blast, where you can just like commit these foundations and then blow them up, respond, get another foundation, then ready to Soul Style.
Right.
So if I were to cut anything, I would say Excited for Blood. This deck is very defensive as it is, so you probably don't even need the life gain most of the time.
Love it. I'm gonna get rid of it. I think if our goal is just to get this number as low as we can make it, I think that is just the goal.
Okay.
How crazy is it that I want to put Starlet down to a 3 of?
It's a little nuts, man.
And the reason is honestly just for cutting. The Your Attack build one is so lackluster because of what our character's doing. The chances, I mean, unless we absolutely need a quick creation, right? Or like we have 2 quick creations that we drew and I have to build them right now and it has to be on an attack. Like the only thing this card does is I just get to build it for free out of our hand. I guess it's a weapon, so you get to give it breaker and such, right? Like you just get to give it breaker, but you don't get the other keywords off of it.
Okay.
And it's strictly because like someone with style is going to be better on board than Starlet is, right?
For sure. I've had scenarios where like
same thing with release, like our high block options. Right, as we go back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Here, I think this is as low as I want to go. I think our high block options are going to be fine. I don't think you're going to miss the 4th one of this.
Okay. I definitely have scenarios where I've always wanted the Rising Starlet in like just anywhere, like whether it be on my board or in the discard pile.
Sure.
Especially with like floating around my babies. I have scenarios where I was able to destroy the 3rd foundation or destroy for the 3rd card to be on top, so I can remove 3. Get to the Starlet, and then quick creation, put it into my card pool, build it back down with a Starlet. Just like it was interesting, like play patterns like that was like made me fall in love with this deck because it plays like Momo 1 in the regards of like foundations and the quick creation and everything.
Yeah.
But it also has like these nifty like attack strings that you can just go on forever.
I dig that. I think the big thing here is like I'm down if we want to keep this number close to 65. But if we're trying to get this as close to like I'm thinking like 58 is the number we're pushing for. And that like makes the deck aggressive, right? Or we can just leave it at 60, right? And just like see if we can find 2 low blocks to slam in the deck. But like we're already, I mean, we're at 24 high blocks, 24, 24, and we got to get this number up a little bit. Let's go back to block zones, and a lot of that is coming from like we have to play 4 ready set go, we have to play 4 quick crate, we have to play box full of babies. We don't have the low block, right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
And so like as we look at our lows, we've got double self-sacrifice, double prepare, double rescue. So like these 8 cards, like we just can't touch. In fact, I want to like increase this number by 1 and then increase preparing by 1. It'll put you back that weapon card back in, but increase our low block count just a little bit. And this card already has breaker 1, so now all of these low blocks now have breaker 2.
Okay, I like that.
Breaker.
No complaints.
That puts us to 63. We get away with 2 more low blocks. So from here we've got, let's go back, block zone to self-sacrifice, observant student, glamorous, or childhood friends. I think childhood friends is a very cool card.
I like it. I just don't have any copies of it yet. I haven't gotten any of my provisional stuff yet.
Goes to 0. Yeah, I think actually just putting self-sacrifice on the 4 is just the right move.
Okay.
It's more spam that we get to play. It's either that or we like play 3 of it and then just like the 1 of glamorous just to like try and pop off on them, you know?
Okay. I'm fine with the 4 self-sacrifice personally. Glamorous has been like a card that's come in and out of a bunch of decks that I've played, and like the +3 speed sometimes nice, but the unflipping is just like okay sometimes. Like it's been a very medium card.
I fully get that. Man. I just want 1 more low block just to push us up to 65, but I guess 64 is like a fine number. 64, 22 attacks. Yeah. And I can't convince you to put ready set go down to like a 3 of. Is that not possible?
Brad tried to tell or get it down to a 3 of and try to convince me, but like this is a card like it swings games so much. Like you just have that 2 extra foundations built.
Yeah.
If you can give me an argument on why it should be a 3 instead of a 4 of, I would listen and try to work on it maybe as like a personal thing than why I should not be playing 4.
If it doesn't work, it's very dead. It sucks on turn 1 if they don't fall for the trap, right? If they don't fall for the trick. In addition to that, it is when you win the die roll and you slam 2 of them in your hand, you're now a 5-hander on turn 1, and that sucks, right? And so like the card is exceptionally good when you're going second, and it is bad to not get your full build that you want, right? I get that you are Momo, right? And so you get to build a little, or I guess you're going first. You don't get the first form, yeah. So like drawing 2 of this going first is not good, and playing it as a form on turn 1 is just hella unsafe.
Agreed. I can agree there.
Yeah. So like even like putting it down to 3, putting 1 in the sideboard, right? Like it's not that 1 card's not taking up too much of your sideboard options. It is. I think that you don't need 4 of this in your deck, not with how much you're building off of Momo.
Okay. I will agree there. Then yes,
So,
that can be definitely put down to a 3.
How often have you played this deck in paper, on TTS, on whatever?
I've played it in my local events a bunch of times now, and just like working off of it and trying to change things that I've liked and what I've not liked. But I've noticed that I've always added more cards than I've taken out cards, so that was the problem.
So I think 64 is not a bad number, right? But
Agreed.
like if we go down, we take out that high block, it lets me open up for 1 more low block, and I could put in something like observant student, right? Even at the 1 of, I can look at the top card of my deck and make sure that I don't biff a cannon blast, right? If we do decide to take this, the next locals that you go to, play it at a 3 of and see if you miss it, right? Because like all it takes is drawing 1. yes, your chances of drawing it goes down, but taking out that one card out of your deck also increases the likelihood you'll see it the same amount, because it's now 3 out of 63 as opposed to 4 out of 64.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Besides that, though, this looks fine. This looks good. I have played a total of 0 games with Momo. And so like all of this is all just theory crafting what I think could happen. But I like this. Personally, in my deck, like when I'd be playing, I would try and figure out how to find room for Naval Laser Beam. I think this card is also just like a separate win condition all by its lonesome, of it being just a 5 mid for 8.
If that's the case, I would just cut Netgun Surprise for it.
That's how I feel. But this card, even if it was just like one of this, just because like this does a slightly different job than this, and this does a slightly different job than this, right? This card has stun 4 on it in our character.
It does. You're correct.
Yeah, and so like understanding that, like, dang, this card has stun 4. This card has stun 4. It's good. It's just like it's like a 5th copy of Netgun Surprise and a 2nd copy of Naval Laser Beam Asterix. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that they do like just ever so slightly different jobs. It's cool. It's very cool.
Yeah, and there's also the thing with Netgun Surprise where you can, on your opponent's turn, put it in with Quick Creation.
Correct.
And just to give it -2 damage, take it, whatever, and then just like remove it on their next attack.
Right. Yeah, a lot of neat tactics like that. All in all, though, thoughts on the deck? Anything that you vehemently disagree with?
No, there's I'm pretty much in agreement on almost literally everything. Scarlet, I'm gonna see if I missed that 4th one, because to me that card is like what Momo wants, right? Just like with especially going up the 4 self-sacrifice, so you have so many ways to destroy foundations, and you have so many ways to put foundations back. There's a lot of ways to game or like tactics like you were talking about with that card.
Yeah. Agreed
Like,
fully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we were down to like put this number closer to like 67, 68, I'm into it, right? But just like trying to cut these high blocks down, I think that 3 Scarlet is the right call.
Okay.
Unless you wanted to put something like study group leader down to 1, or someone style down to 1 to replace it back, right? Which I think those are fine moves, but I don't think that we necessarily need it. If it was anything, it would be someone style, because it doesn't have the keyword where study group leader does.
No, I can agree with that though.
Yeah. At least test it, right? Test it and see what happens, and the worst case is like you found a way to not make a light bulb, you know?
Sounds good.
All right, man. Well, thank you again for the support on Patreon. Congratulations on the amazing weekend. I will shoot you the list, and we'll catch you next time. Okay?
That sounds good. When do you do Let's Fight?
We might do it after this. I've only got one more deck doctor, and so there's that. But normally it's on Thursdays. Normally.
Sounds good. Well, I'm gonna stay in the stream. I would definitely love to just go ahead and test this on the Let's Fight. Why not?
Would be very fun. Would be very fun. All right, man. Well, I'll catch you next time. Okay?
All right. Later.
Peace.